Anything you put before God is going to disappoint you. Anything at all. A person, an activity. It could be knitting with grandma. Anything that you put before God, the one who's eternal, the one who created you, isn't going to be able to satisfy you the way He can. Why? He knows you. He's always known you. He died on the cross for you and me. So, therefore, verse 24, therefore God also gave them up to uncleanness and the lust of their hearts, to dishonor their bodies among themselves, who exchanged the truth of God for the lie, and worshipped and served the creature rather than the Creator, who is blessed forever. Amen. For this reason God gave them up to vile passions, for even their women exchanged the natural use for what is against nature. That's not Paul's nice way of saying women were engaging in sodomy. Likewise also the men, leaving the natural use of the woman, burned in their lust for one another, men with men, committing what is shameful, and receiving in themselves the penalty of their error, which was due. Here Paul is saying men with men committing sodomy, homosexual acts. Paul's condemning them, saying God is condemning it. That's right, I said it. Might not be popular. Homosexuality is wrong. That's not me saying it. That's what God said. I'm going to stick with Him on that. Even as they did not like to retain God in their knowledge, God gave them over to a debased mind to do those things which are not fitting. This verse, 28, I can relate to so much. When when I think back to living at home with my mom and stepdad, there were perks. There were major perks. Laundry was a huge perk. It wasn't until I was 20 that I had to do laundry. Living at home with Mom, I had laundry done. I had food all the time, TV, internet. I had central air, which you don't appreciate until you live with it all your life and then go without. But Mom nagged. Bob, have you paid your bills? Bob, you should shave for work. Bob, you need to clean your room. Bob, do this. Bob, do that. Mom never bugged me to make me mad, but it made me mad because I knew she was right. My mother never bugged me so that I'd turn out to be a lazy slob who... I'm actually keeping up on the dishes now, but she didn't raise me to not do laundry, to not make my bed. She was raising me for good reasons. And the way Mom nagged me about things is the way that God will nag you about things. If you get close to Him, if you're looking at His Word, if you're listening to His messages, you're going to feel things in your heart, and you're going to think things in your mind, and you're going to go, ugh, I shouldn't go out with the guys this weekend. Well, we always have a good time, though, and I'm lonely a lot. But I know if we go out, we're going to end up in the strip club in Umatilla, and I just don't know. God's going to be tugging at your heart, and He's going to pester you. But if you don't want to hear it, if you're ignoring it, if you're la 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 la, then after time, even as they did not like to retain God in their knowledge, God gave them over to a debased mind to do those things which are not fitting. If you're going to ignore God, He's going to not give you things to ignore about Him. There's always going to be signs of God. You're not going to be able to completely forget about Him, but you're going to be able to put Him in the back shelf of your mind. And that's terrifying. I did that for a long time. Such a long time. And occasionally, I would get a good nagging. But it always wasn't enough. Not until this summer did I see what a wicked, nasty, terrible thing I was. So, what are the things which are not fitting? What are the things that God gives us over to a debased mind for, to do the things that are not fitting? Being filled with unrighteousness, sexual immorality, wickedness, covetousness, maliciousness, full of envy, murder, strife, deceit, evil-mindedness. They are whisperers, backbiters, haters of God, violent, proud, boasters, inventors of evil things, disobedient to parents, undiscerning, untrustworthy, unloving, unforgiving, unmerciful. It's a long list. That's a long list, and I want to point out and focus on just a couple of them. Too much in this world, too much when people think about religion, Catholicism is terrible about it. Mortal and venial sins, different religious systems, different people think that there are some sins that are worse than others. That murder is bad. Murder is a mortal sin. But to lie on your taxes and not claim all the tips of your job, not quite as big of a deal. You didn't kill anybody. So here Paul gives us a list of sins, and he doesn't make a distinction from some of them between the others. Paul lists sexual immorality, murder, evil-mindedness, haters of God, violent, with other sins, being proud, pride, boasters, disobedient to parents, deceit could be a little thing, little lies, unloving, unforgiving, unmerciful. That is how we are. If God, through Paul, is putting murder on the same level of being unforgiving and unloving, how does that change the way you feel about yourself? How does that change the way that you perceive yourself? I know not many of you, I believe not many of you watching this are murderers, but how many of you are unloving, unforgiving, unmerciful? I'm not judging anybody. I have my faults, I have my flaws. What are we? To stand for any of those things, to let those things happen, what are we? Who are we? What could we be? Not good. Let's go now to further in Romans.